What is Amazon's little secret? They can almost predict before you buy what you're going to buy. They've got these algorithms, making it so simple to add things to our cart. They build our trust through these reviews, and they almost have this cult-like loyalty. This is Amazon. How are they so persuasive? What can we learn from them? Why do they sell so much? How can we sell more and become more influential? Let's do it.
Maximize your influence. Kurt Mortensen is the author of Persuasion IQ, Laws of Charisma, and the best-selling book, Maximum Influence.
Welcome to podcast 590. Kurt Mortensen here, Maximize Your Influence, where we take a deep dive in the world of persuasion, motivation, and influence. Things we should have learned in school, but let's understand it now. Let's get in and talk about Amazon. What are they doing? What are they not doing? How can we adapt their powerful persuasion techniques to our lives, to our negotiations, to our websites? Hey, this is all data-driven. They've done it. People benchmark them all the time to see what they're doing, to see what they're not doing. Amazon leverages these algorithms, your browsing history, your purchase patterns, even what you're abandoning in your carts. They know you probably better than you know yourself. Pretty impressive company that just started as an online bookstore. Now they dominate the world marketplace. So let's take a look at these, what's called behavioral economics, this neuromarketing, which turns that casual visit, just looking, into a full cart. Done, click, and shipped. You don't even remember what happened, but it arrives the next day. So understanding their persuasion strategies is crucial in life, in sales, and negotiation. Maybe build up a little resistance to the Amazon lure that's in your life. What are they doing that you can do? So let's study Amazon and how we can add that to our world. But let's do the persuasion blunder. Don't. Now, as we go through a lot of these Amazon techniques, the blunder is we try to change too many things at once. If it's working pretty good, keep using it. Change one thing. Is it performing better or worse? They call it an A/B test. So you don't change 1, 2, 3, 4 things, because then if it doesn't work or it does work, what's working the best? Why is it working? Why isn't it working? So when you look at your persuasive presentations, your sales copy, your websites, change one thing at a time. Change your offer a little bit at a time. So be a student here. See what works for you. Change something. Did it work better? Did it work worse? That's the blunder that people run into is they try to change too much too fast. Then they don't know what's working and what's not working. And a lot of people have tried that with the Amazon approach. They try to do the whole thing, the whole kitchen sink, one thing at a time, a little bit at a time. That's how we improve. That's how we get better. That's what great people do. They benchmark, adjust it, use it, fine-tune it, and then add it to your world. So basically start small, change this, adjust this, measure this, especially when it comes to sales, your close, your presentations, a little bit at a time. Which brings us to our geeky scholarly article. This comes from the International Journal of Scientific Research in Engineering and Management, where they were researching Amazon and how they have changed the digital economy and how they drive billions in sales, what they call subtle psychological manipulation. They say by knowing these tactics, as they call them, that consumers can make more informed decisions. It can help marketers, help businesses to really understand this technology, human behavior, and in boosting conversions. So they also call it neuromarketing. They found out Amazon really hits the FOMO, the fear of missing out, great at building trust through social validation, how they personalize everyone's experiences to tap into their own emotional desires, all while reducing decision friction for that purchase. So they said they used the model, the AIDA model, attention, interest, desire, and action. So they found out that when they personalize these recommendations, that increases your impact on desire by 30%. When they offer these limited time discounts, that increases your interest 28%. So they're doing a little bit here, dramatically increase the amount of purchases on the website. So their key takeaways, we're going to talk about some of these. The positive reviews, that grabs people's attention and drives action. They personalize those recommendations based on your past behavior, which enhances that desire and engagement, resulting in higher conversion rates. And their urgency, limited stock, those alerts, one-time flash sales, all create impulses that help people purchase. So bottom line, they say Amazon doesn't just sell products. It engineers desire, proving that the future of commerce lies in understanding the mind as much as the market. So let's go through these and talk about them. And the reason why, it's coming from a listener email, wanting to know if Amazon was the most persuasive site in the world. Now, I took a look at this. This is Fred from South Carolina. I took a look at it, did some AI on it. Okay, what's the most persuasive website? Some agreed, some didn't agree. I mean, there's no one national award, but we all got to say, hey, Amazon's up there, probably the most persuasive website on the planet. You've been there, you've probably purchased from there. So let's learn from them. What are they doing? So the one thing I mentioned already, that personalized recommendation. Remember, that increased, according to the article, desire by 30%. So what Amazon does is uses algorithms to suggest products based on your past behavior, your browsing history, and things that you've purchased. And they tailor it to you, so it feels more intuitive and more relevant to you. So Amazon, they've got all the data centers. They analyze all that data. They know your must-haves. They know what you've looked at. And what that does is reduces decision fatigue that we talked about a month ago on the podcast, that when prospects have decision fatigue, it's very hard for them to make a decision. So this leads to higher impulse buys. Let's say you're buying a coffee maker. They're going to recommend coffee pods. They're going to recommend everything you need for that purchase. So you need to keep track of what people want, what people are ordering. Remember, the easiest customer is get your customer to buy more, do more. That's your goal in business. And it builds a better connection, better rapport. Amazon knows us so well, and you need to do the same thing with the people in your audience and the prospects that you talk to. That's why it's okay to recommend additional products. In fact, one study said that offering personalized product recommendations in e-commerce, get this, increase the average order value by 369%. Here it is. Get to know them, recommend it, and increase your sales. And then Amazon's awesome. Their social validation, those testimonials, those customer reviews. I mean, it becomes trustless. When there's 5,000 five-star reviews, I don't need to worry about it. Statistically speaking, it's going to work out. It's going to be good. So Amazon shows all the user reviews, the ratings, because we always trust other people before the source, especially when you're a first-time buyer. It reduces perceived risk, so you need to do the same thing. Share testimonials during your presentations, during negotiations, borrow credibility from somebody else, have them introduce you, recommend you, and of course, make sure your testimonials are legit. They're believable, and we always tell the truth, but sometimes they're so good, they're not believable. It all comes back to that final number. Out of 5 stars, is it 4.5, 4.6? That's the number that matters. And another study showed that 92% of online shoppers read reviews before purchasing. So, get more and add more testimonials. Now, another one the article mentioned was that FOMO, that scarcity principle with limited stock alerts. When they say there's 3 left, we believe them because we've gone back and they're gone. And that creates a limited sense of availability and creates urgency. So that FOMO increases value. You get quicker decisions, and people want what's rare. When there's 3 left, they want it more. You're checking out, you're thinking about it. There's only 2 left. Better order. They push you to make that decision. So how do you create legitimate scarcity? Let them know there's 3 left in your size. You could only handle 1 coaching client a month. That because of the supply chain, prices will be going up next week. That there's limited spots available in the webinar. Whatever it is, create that FOMO. We know clothing stores are doing that now. There's only 1 left in that color in your size. You're like, that's the last one. No, there's more in the back. That increases sales dramatically. So that's why Amazon does those limited time deals, those flash sales. It creates that urgency. Limited quantity, limited supply, last one left in your size, whatever it is. And this FOMO can increase conversions by 35%. Now, another great one is Amazon's great at building loyalty. This Prime membership, the free shipping, the exclusive deals, you're part of the family. You're loyal. You don't go anywhere else. They build that sense of reciprocity, that obligation. We want to be loyal. We want to return the favor. And we increase our spending. This is where we always go for the things that we need. They take care of us and we take care of them. So can you use reciprocity? Have an exclusive club, provide free resources up front, offer concession and negotiation. Again, it's human nature. You give me something, I'll give you something back. You smile, I'm going to smile back. That's one of the 12 laws of persuasion. The law of obligation doesn't guarantee they're going to do business with you, but build more loyalty. Another interesting one, I don't know if you noticed on Amazon, is the anchoring bias. So Amazon shows the original price crossed out next to the lower price. That sets the anchor. That's why on a dress, they don't cover up the original price. It was $100, then they see the next one's $80, the next one's $70, and it goes all the way down to $40. They leave them there. That's called a price anchor bias. And by doing that, the discount appears more attractive. That's why we always start high with the retail price. Like I said, in negotiation, you want to start as high as possible without getting into the insult zone because that starts the anchor. Some people say, well, I don't want to play that game. Well, if you don't play the game, you're not going to win the game because if you don't give yourself wiggle room, if you don't establish the value of your product or service, they don't have the same value in the eye of your prospect. For example, if I say, can you do a 2-minute survey? A few people will say yes. But if I say, we do a 2-hour survey? No. Will you at least do 2 minutes? That's an anchor. And it doubled the amount of people that said yes. It's called door in the face. You got to use it strategically, but you can use it to build value. Continuing with the magic of Amazon, loss aversion. They notify you that the deal's ending soon. You put it in your cart. You better save now. The price is going to go up. Comes back to that fear of loss. But they frame deals that if you don't get them now, you're going to regret it. It's going to be more expensive. It's not going to be available. And then you get that notification. Your watch item is almost sold out. Don't miss this price. Triggers more purchasing. So let people know. You snooze, you lose. The cost of delaying, not making a decision, not making it happen, can all trigger that loss aversion. So one study in behavioral economics showed that this loss aversion is best used by emphasizing those potential losses. Then you've got this one. It was a while back we talked about the decoy effect. So Amazon reduces inferior options to make target products seem more superior. So they put a decoy next to one you want, and it looks better, and it simplifies decision, and it steers you towards making a higher purchase. They do this at the supermarket where you're like, oh, if that's $1, that's $5. Wow. They put one that's very expensive or not as good right there. And of course, nobody wants it, but makes the other ones look better. So if you offered a basic $10 item, premium $30 item, and a decoy $25 item, which is worse than the $10 item, you're like, wait a minute, it makes the $30 item look much better. So you should always have options. Amazon is great with that. That's another thing they do is they provide options and make it easier to pick. Not 100 different options, which they do have. They narrow them down on the screen to give you your best options. Remember, an overwhelmed brain says no. So they also call them suboptimal alternatives, where you're like, well, that's a no-brainer. That's the best one right there. That's the best deal right there. They don't have to think about it. They make it as easy as possible. Now, on the unethical side, we've seen real estate agents do this. They call them setup properties, decoy properties, where they show you one in your price range in a bad neighborhood. They haven't mowed the lawn. It looks terrible. You're like, geez. Then they show you the one they really want you to buy that's, hey, a lot better, same price. Then the decision becomes a no-brainer. Amazon's also great at FITD, foot in the door, little steps at a time. Like just putting it on your wish list, putting it in your cart if you're not quite ready. Take a look at this, read another testimonial, a little bit here, a little bit there, a little foot in the door. And the more things they get you to do, the more yeses they get out of you, the easier it is for that final yes. That's a great one for me. All right, I'm not ready to purchase, but let's get it on the cart. I want to think about it later. Let's put it on a wish list. And then it's there. They remind me about it later. It's in the cart. I'd made half a decision, and now it's easier to make the full decision. Because once committed to the idea, people strive for that consistency. And what that does is turns these little micro actions into full conversions through reminders, through these little steps. So can you have a wish list? Can you have a better cart? When you're talking to someone, can you get smaller yeses, these little agreements? In negotiations, can you secure just a small concession up front? And that's a big thing in negotiation. Let's say there's 10 things you need to solve in a negotiation. People start with the hardest one first, price. No, understand every yes you get, the next yes becomes easier. So start with the easiest issues first. All right, delivery date. Okay, June it is. Who's going to be on the team? All right, Bob, Frank, Joe, and Sally. Yes, yes, yes. Because if you get stuck on that first one, price, then it's just resistance, and you still got 9 things to solve. But think about the mindset. There's only one final thing to solve. You've already got 9 yeses. You just need one more. It makes it mentally much easier to get that final yes. Another one, Amazon's really good at using authority with the Amazon Choice Badge. Basically, it's an expert endorsement, and people trust it more. It signals reliability. People defer to authorities. You're trying to get money off me. You're trying to sell me something on Amazon, but now an expert saying, yes, this is good. We always defer to authorities. When we accept somebody as an expert, persuasion resistance goes way down. It reduces uncertainty and again increases that trust. So what can you do to cite expert opinions, borrow that credibility, use authority maybe in a quote? How can you leverage that? In fact, one study showed in negotiations that when people boosted their authority, they had 18% better negotiation outcomes. And then final one, and I mentioned this a little bit earlier, just make it easy. Amazon one click. It's almost scary. One click, bought, shipped, wrapped, billed, done. They made it as easy as possible. Because everything they ask you to do on any website, it decreases compliance. If you got to go here and fill out this field, that's why they auto-populate. They store your credit card. There's one click. They make it easy. They've even patented the one-click button. Because think about it. If you had to put that credit card in every time, the address, and choose this, and what about this? It reduces compliance. You've got to remove friction. Make it as easy as possible. How can you do this in your world? How can you reduce the pain of paying? That's why they do credit cards. Credit cards are less painful than cash. That's why there's Prime membership. You don't have to pay for shipping. They show you how much money you're saving. That is the power of Amazon. So what can you do to simplify your process? Make it easier. Reduce that friction. Again, I don't know about this patent on the one-click thing and what you can and cannot do, but you can simplify the process and reduce that friction, reduce the pain of paying, and actually make it fun. So now we see people on Amazon enjoying the process, enjoying giving their hard-earned money to another company. There you have it. That's podcast 590, The Power of Amazon. Again, don't do all at once. Pick one of them, one at a time. How can you implement it? How can you use it? Get in a presentation, on a website, in a negotiation. We all persuade and influence for a living. We can all fine-tune these tools. So thanks for being here. You can find this podcast on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and on Audible. Tell your family and friends about the podcast. Hit like, hit subscribe. Really appreciate your love and support. Any questions, send them to maximizeyourinfluence@gmail.com. Go to the website, subscribe to the email list, get the special of the week. And that special this week is you fill out your persuasion IQ at maximizeyourinfluence.com, and you'll get Millionaire Psychology for free. You want to become a millionaire? You start thinking, acting, and doing what other millionaires do. Or whatever your goal is, become more successful at self-persuasion. Take something you learned today, apply it, use it, master it, and go out and persuade with power.